So this is a 2011 Toyota Tacoma. It's got the green four-wheel drive light flashing in the dash. And when you get under here and you try to put it in four-wheel drive, you can actually hear an audible beeping, which I thought was interesting. So we have a signal to the motor. So this, I already took this off, but it's just, it's 5 screws. You can see the screw hole. And you take this thing off, and it does have to be timed. These contacts right here line up perfectly with this rib, these little contacts, so that this gear, if I turn this gear, this will pull the little shaft in and out. Do you see how much rust is in that housing? Look at that. The vent hose looks really bad on the end. See that? So what happens is the water gets in through the vent. And if you want to see it really bad, look at this motor. This thing is really rusty. It's one of the worst ones I've ever seen. So what's happened is this motor is so rusted up, it won't rotate anymore. So it's got to rotate these little gears, and then it rotates that other gear that's the one I pointed out earlier that's got to be timed or in the right position. And then this one's bad enough that even the contacts, you can see those little dark marks, that's rust on the contacts. So I'm gonna clean all this grease off. I'm gonna clean these contacts back up. Even the worm gear here, look how rusty that is. But I'm gonna see if I can clean all this stuff up. The motor looks worse than it is. It's probably still okay, believe it or not. It's just, it's such a dinky little motor. It's not like it's got a lot of torque to get started. And so we just need to get this thing turning again and get the little shaft. I mean, that's the tiny little shaft right there for the motor, and it just needs to be lubed back up. And then we should be able to get this thing working again. Getting back under here just to show you guys the shifter, the shaft, and you can hear it shift the transfer case. It moves really easy. So there's nothing wrong with this part of the mechanism. And I never even pulled this gear out. So it's still meshed on the little shaft that it's pulling in and out exactly the way it was. This guy just got quoted $4,000 to fix this thing. And the reason is because the shaft that this little gear pulls out. And so for the 4-low, it's the same exact thing under here. There's no motor though. It's a gear that looks just like this. And it's the same thing. There's another shaft and it pulls that shaft in and out of the transfer case. So this little changer box has 2 shafts that probably go 6 inches at least into the transfer case. Well, this does not come off without the 2 shafts, and the shafts don't come out of the transfer case unless you take the whole back cover off the transfer case to release the shafts. And so they want $4 grand to do this job because they got to take the whole transfer case apart. This is the worst one of these I've honestly ever seen. It is really, really rusty. In fact, I don't know if you can see, even that little worm gear is just cankered with rust. And you got rust on the shaft, this part right here. And so I'm gonna do something a little unconventional that I've never done before on one of these. And I am going to put some of this in a bowl. Not even gonna take the motor out of there. I'm just gonna dip the whole motor, and I'm gonna de-rust this thing. And then I think I'm gonna dip it in some kind of light oil, like maybe WD-40, and see if I can get the motor to turn again without breaking the solder joints here and without even taking this out or apart. Just literally fix the motor right where it sits. If it doesn't, I can always still take the motor out and replace it, but I'm gonna try to fix this one with a minimal amount of disassembly and see what happens. And by the way, guys, this is what we used to do. We were not just parts changers, which that's all the dealer or whoever he took this to wanted to do. They just wanted to charge him $4,000, pull the transfer case, take it apart, and pull this off and put a new one on. That's not what we used to do in the old days. We actually were mechanics back then, and I'm trying to be one now. And so instead of having this customer just take it up the tailpipe, so to speak, I'm going to be a real mechanic, or pretend to be one, if this works. And so here we go. We're gonna dip this bit, and yeah, we're gonna see what happens. So I changed containers. I needed a little bit deeper container because I wanted to get this worm gear. I wanted to get this part right here, as well as the motor. submerged, and this one right here wasn't quite deep enough. And you could actually see this is all the rust that came off this motor. But anyway, I've had this thing soaking in the rust stuff, I don't know, probably 5 or 6-ish hours. And I don't know if it's a good idea to get this micro switch. It probably wouldn't hurt it, honestly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip this in WD-40 tomorrow. And they didn't have a gallon in stock, so I had to order it. So I won't have it till tomorrow morning. But I wanna show you, this thing would not move at all. I did have to take a screwdriver, full disclosure here. And I put the screwdriver in here and I started turning the motor, and anyway, it broke it completely free. Look how easy that turns now. You couldn't have thought of turning that thing before, and so that's why I say I'm gonna soak it in WD-40, and then I'm gonna get as much of the oil out of it as I can. But WD is water displacing, and so I want to get the water, because I think this is a water-based, whatever this thing is, and I cleaned all these contacts off really good. And so I think we might have success. I'm gonna soak this thing, a little WD tomorrow, and I'm gonna put power. And if this thing runs and this gear spins, we are golden. This thing's gonna work. And again, that's a $4,000 repair if you take this to the dealer. Check this out. So I use this little 9-volt battery and this lead that snaps on the top. I test the servo motors for the blend door actuators. If I got a dash out of a car and I'm rebuilding an HVAC, I don't want to put that whole dash back in and not know that all that stuff is working right and the blend doors are all moving. So just for giggles, I took this thing and I touched it to this motor, and I know it looks pretty bad, but check this out. And this is only 9 volts and a little battery. There we go. That thing spins easy. So I think we have success here. This is gonna work, and it's gonna save a ton of money. So yeah, if it works that good with this weak little 9-volt battery, it's gonna work really good when it's got a car battery running it. Now that we got a gallon of WD-40 and we filled this up, we're gonna take this guy right here and we're gonna soak it. We're just gonna let that motor completely soak so we get all that water-based stuff out of it. The water-based rust remover, which worked really good. The motor spins really free now and worked with the little 9-volt battery. It's submerged in WD-40, and this motor spins absolutely effortlessly now. Like freewheel spins, it spins so easy. I just want to make sure that we're displacing all the water-based rust remover out of the motor itself. WD stands for water displacing 40, because it took them 40 tries to get it to where it actually worked. Okay, now that I got this obnoxious thing off, so I can put the cap on and actually screw the lid on, because we're all gonna drink WD-40 because we're all stupid and we're gonna die. All right, I didn't film it, but all the little contacts inside got some dielectric grease on them. And remember that the little contacts that were on the little wheel in here, they line up with the rib on the transfer case, and then you just put the cover back on. It was pretty easy. You got to work it a little bit to get everything meshed in, and the gears and whatever. And then I already got the other 3 screws in, so we are putting the last 2 in. And this thing, I'm gonna plug it in and we're gonna see if it works, but I'm gonna lay odds that it does. And then this little vent hose has enough. I'm just gonna cut the end of this off. It's got plenty of length, so it's got a nice clean end. And then I'm just gonna plug the vent hose back in. But that's what caused the problem in the first place. That vent hose was not a good fit. It was kind of old and cracked on the end, and it let water get in here, and it rusted everything, and the motor quit working. So the end of the vent hose is trimmed. Let's see if we can get a camera angle there. That's super dark, but Get my other hand in there. It plugs in. You can just see it right there, right behind that plug. That's where the hose goes. I gotta quit looking through the camera. I can't see what I'm plugging in. But yeah, it's quite a tight fit on there with the end cut off, like very tight. It fits really good. So it's not gonna leak. There's plenty of hose. So you got length to just cut the end and plug it back in. And we're gonna test this thing right now and see if it works. All right, I got my assistant piano player in the truck. Let's see if this thing makes a noise now. Switch it to 4 high. Did the light go off? Yeah, it's off. It says 4 high and it's not blinking? Well, now it's 4 high. I turned it off. Oh, okay. But it's working. I can hear it. We got success here. This is working perfectly. All right, we've run it through all of the cycles. It works in 4 low, 4 high, and 2 high. I guess these are skid plates, little protector plates. Back on, and we are done. All right, so to summarize on this 2011 Tundra, I basically rebuilt the top half of this box without taking this apart. And the guy got quoted $4,000 because they told him you got to take the transfer case apart, which is true if you pull this box with the shafts. But the problem was the motor. The vent leaked, it rusted the motor, and it gummed up the works to where the motor wouldn't turn. But one thing that I did different from any of the other videos that I've seen is they all took the motor out once they had this cover off, and then they broke the solder joints that connect the motor. So that would require resoldering the motor back in, which is not a super big deal, but my video was unique because I did not take the motor out of this housing. I repaired it by submerging it in rust remover and then submerged it in WD-40, and then I lubed everything up real good. I put dielectric grease on all the contacts after I cleaned them, and it works perfectly. So hopefully that helps you guys. This is a chronic problem on all the Toyotas, the Lexus, the RX series cars. They all use the same setup, and I fixed a bunch of these, and I tried to do this one as minimally invasive as humanly possible so the average DIYer can do it. Even though it is a little bit involved, it's not impossible, and it could save you a lot of money and time.